to
The
Rehash
the
Pass
podcast.
with
Sabrina,
and
Joe,
Joe
and
Sabrina.
woohoo! Episode
Yay!
14.
Episode 14. Wow, we're
We're already
really getting in there.
mid-season. I know, right?
Wow, time flies.
It sure does. And we're picking up speed because as time goes along, I think we're trying to attempt to have maybe two podcasts a week.
Nice.
Yeah, so we might speed through this season like nobody's business.
Yeah, you just had our lovely friends, Edgar and George and Edgar.
Yeah.
Um, that was lots of fun to watch as a audience member.
Yeah, and which
And
makes me a little jelly gel because I want to also partake in such festivities. So perhaps you too will do some solo podcasting with
yeah,
guests, and then I can sit back and feel the warm, fuzzy blanket of friendship as I eat my cereal.
yeah. I might have been eating cereal while I was watching you guys actually. Raisin Bran.
Well
Yay.
played. We get things moving,
Yes.
and so does
Yeah,
your
I'll have to see
fiber.
who I'm gonna interview.
Yeah,
We'll have to see. Yeah, and if you have any suggestions or thoughts, we have an email, and it's rehashthepastpodcast at gmail.com.
use it, don't lose it.
Yeah, and we'll maybe look into giving you a prize or something.
I would not be opposed to offering a prize because
Yeah,
we
we have
have
lots.
yet to receive a single email, and the individual who happens to do it first is most deserving of a prize.
Yeah, we'll think of something good. Um, yeah, one thing I was thinking of was about dorks and nerds.
Hmm. Oh yeah, often it's a confusing, blurry line that separates the two, and some people don't
Yes,
really know where they land.
right. And it
Hmm.
was a topic of discussion in high school. I don't know if it
Hmm.
was in your high school, where you landed, where I landed. And I teeter-tottered that line. Um, I
So
don't know if you did.
can you offer like a basic definition for the two terms? We'll see if it matches with my understanding.
Okay. Nerd is um has a high intellectual capacity in terms of academics, and functional uh, academics smarts, and also maybe genius type interpretations, but it's all scientifically or mathematically recognized.
Hmm. Interesting. Very
Where a
academic.
dork,
Yeah.
yes, a dork may not have the academics, but they have a genius of a different type
Hmm.
that may not be recognized academically, but it has similar interests. Maybe both the nerd and the dork share similar interests
Hmm.
in like media and movies or books and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
the only thing that I think that the dork misses from being a nerd is the academic aptitude.
Hmm. Interesting. I thought that was a very well thought out, detailed description there. You working for Merriam-Webster's? What's up? Not bad. Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
that's
that
what.
rings totally true for what I understand of the two as well. I guess I would throw in there that what they share in common is an obsessive nature. They obsess over things, both. But
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
nerd would obsess over more academic sorts of things, whereas the dork might obsess more about pop culture things.
Mhm.
But being obsessed about either one of those things and not about getting laid all the time, or you know, looking your best to get laid all the time, or whatever it is to do with being laid, is why you become a dork or a nerd. If you can
Ah.
balance the obsession with the pursuit of booty, then you don't have that classification. You get classified that way because your obsession is more present than your lust for the
Mhm. For the other sex or whatever your sexual conquest is, whoever that is.
right,
It,
right.
although the end is the same, like people die.
Hmm.
So it in a way it is easier, but the result is the same, death.
Yeah, I think the result's
So
always death, unless there's life after death.
mm,
Perhaps it's not over.
what do you think, Joe? You think there's life after death?
Nah, I think we're dead. No, I think there's, some sort of recycling plant for all the energy, you know? But I think it's the same thing as a recycling plant for plastic bottles. Can you recognize your old bottle once it gets passed through the plant? Does it have any distinguishing characteristics that it once had? I think it's kind of like that. So you're dead.
You're
Show's
dead.
over, ladies and gentlemen. Lights out. Yeah, I think pretty much it's over. But you don't know it's over. So in that sense, you don't die
Mm.
because you never know that you're dead. So,
Oh wow. I think there is some kind of transformation that happens to the soul. Um, but I don't think it's anything that we could understand, like as we know life and humanity as we know it, like it is now. It's I think something different,
hmm.
a transcending of the body into something else. But I do have trouble with like the idea of people going to hell. Um, and like that means if I believe in hell, then I believe in heaven, which I don't believe in hell. So therefore, I
Well,
can't believe
I
in heaven.
mean, to me, they're both obviously based on like life experiences. You know, I don't think any part of the depiction of either one of those realms is anything that doesn't, relate directly to a life experience. You know, I don't hear any, or see any depiction of heaven or hell that, seems so foreign to what we experience here on Earth.
Right,
I
right.
think,
Hmm.
metaphorically the fire, metaphorically the pitchfork, we do feel those sorts of things here on Earth.
Hmm.
Metaphorically, the joy and not aging and your family's all near. We experience that on Earth. It's just like the metaphorical things of, well, there's clouds and harps and, there's
Right.
lava rivers, and all this and that. But yeah, I mean, if the description was something where it was like, huh, that doesn't make any sense. We're cubes and we're filled with green jello and we transmit a frequency that's picked up by other cubes. Like, it's not
Yeah,
explained to us like that.
yeah.
So, yeah, my interpretation of it is that, hell and heaven are experienced here on earth,
Mm. Hmm.
you know, and life and death is experienced here on earth, and all of it is experienced here on earth, you know.
Mm. Hmm.
I mean, even what is it called? Reincarnation, in a sense, Sometimes you feel like you can fly, sometimes you feel like you can run real fast,
Hmm.
There's those feelings, those experiences that are unexplainable. Super strength. Maybe for a moment you were reincarnated as a gorilla, and you're like, roar,
Yeah.
you know, all of it.
I like to think like in moments like that where you could like lift a car or like out of a split second you could just get out of the way right at the right time. In my mind, I imagine like a quick little like angel type
Mm,
entity, like pushes you out of the way or like pulls you out of the way or like some kind of like crazy otherworldly help that you get out of like keeping safe when you're doing stupid shit,
Hmm.
because I slow it down, and I'm like, how did they like when there was a kid that like ran and like held his baby brother that fell. It's
Hmm.
like there's like a lapse in time. Like how did it like from one like frame to the next? They're like they jump in like
Hmm.
such a huge space.
Like the
Like
Flash.
the flash, bah!
Yeah.
Yeah, and they catch the baby, or like they move out of the way and there's a tree that falls, or
Or
something
the
like that.
train, and like, oh,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
um that's cool.
It
I
is
like that.
cool. It's kind of like the law of averages, though, because I guess for every time you get that train going, there's another 10 where it's,
I
you
guess
know?
you don't see those.
So
Yeah.
there's like, a percentage to all of those things, and you luck out and get that little tight slice out of the pie and just so happen to avert catastrophe like that.
I know. That's why I feel like it's otherworldly or some other
It's like,
thing. Maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds me of those days where you're in the car and it's just
Mhm.
green light, green light, green light,
Oh yeah.
green light, and you're just like, wow, that's kind of like you missing the train every time, right? You're just like, damn. And
Yeah.
sometimes you're on a roll, and you're almost
Yeah.
like when you're on a roll, maybe you can't die. Like even if you tried, like you'd be like, oh fuck it, I'll jump out the window, but then all of a sudden like somebody opens up like, one of those what is it called? An awning?
And, oh yeah.
And you're like bonks and then
Oh
into the
yeah.
trash. Like you just can't kill yourself
Aladdin.
if you're on a roll.
Yeah, yeah. Like an
Yeah,
Aladdin
Aladdin
type.
style. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
hmm I mean, I don't know if it's good to tempt fate though.
Right.
You have to almost not be aware of it, because if once you
Yeah.
become conscious of it, then like your mind starts playing tricks and other characters get involved,
Mm.
fear and doubt, like all that stuff
It's funny how
creeps
that
in.
if you see someone tempting fate, it instills fear and doubt in yourself, and you're not even partaking in the action.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like when
right?
you watch those crazy Russian daredevil videos of them scaling those high rises and hanging from just their fingertips and doing like little push-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that makes me so sick to my stomach.
Uh, yeah.
You know?
Well, there was a man who was dangling his baby off a cliff, holding onto the little baby's hand so they could take a picture.
Oh my god.
And I'm like,
Oh my
oh
god.
my God, like that made me like so upset, because I'm like,
Mm.
one, yeah, okay, you can hold on to your baby. I mean, maybe the baby was like 3, but still a little kid.
Mm.
You could hold on to the little hands and they'll, be fine. But you don't know.
Mm. What's
Something
the
can
problem
come.
there is that it's the baby too. If
But
it's
yeah,
just
exactly.
yourself, go for it. Be a horse's ass, do it. But if it's a baby,
Yeah.
because if it's yourself, then you divert back to that thing where you don't know that you're actually dying. You don't know you're dead. So it's
Right.
fine for you. It's selfish because all your loved ones will have to suffer the loss, but you're gone. Lights out. You
Right.
don't even know. But the baby, if you drop that little baby, yikes. That's
Yeah.
gonna be trouble. That's another story altogether.
Yeah. I just imagine that baby growing up and being like, "Oh wow, my dad like dangled me from a from a cliff once." Cool. You're like, what are you gonna do?
I guess you'd probably grow to be an adult, have your own kid, and then throw him out the window of a bus or something, trying to top it.
It's like it's no problem. I survived. Why can't you?
Mm. It's like those parents that just throw their kid in the pool.
Ooh,
I think those kids grow up and they throw their kids in the pool
yeah,
too.
probably.
Were you thrown in the
Yeah.
pool?
No.
I wasn't either.
No. Who? No.
A lot of kids get thrown in the pool. A lot.
Like without knowing how to swim at
Oh
all, or
yeah.
like
Oh yeah. For their first time in the pool, they just flirp. It's kind of like
what?
yeah, I think it's like a high percentage of parents just throw their kids in the pool.
In Florida?
Oh, I don't know about Florida, but I think in,
Because I'm
globally.
like, globally.
I
Oh,
think so. Yeah, I think so. Which may not even be a bad thing. I
right.
haven't done it, and it wasn't done to me, but I don't know, certain situations like that might be beneficial.
Cultural. Oh, beneficial. That's
Maybe.
kind of on the same length of the string with the tooth getting pulled out. Like, because the kids don't know what they're up against. They have no idea
Mm-hmm.
what it is that they're doing, what the implications are. Like they can
Mm-hmm.
kind of get it, but they've never had a tooth
Mm-hmm.
with a string around it and a door hand, a door
Knob.
closing.
Yeah.
Yeah, closed doorknob. Um, they don't know what that's gonna be like.
Did
They
your
just
parents
start
ever
trusting.
do something like that to you? They thought it
No,
would make you better off, but till this day you're like, that didn't actually wasn't good.
no, no. Because we like when there was real like problems and issues, like they would talk to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, like there was an accident or like someone got hurt or something. Like we had real problems that we didn't have to like manufacture a trauma so I could like be a
Be
better
stronger.
person, be
Yeah.
stronger. Like it
It's
was
your
just already.
16th birthday. We're gonna shave all your hair off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you'll be ridiculed, but it'll make you stronger.
No, we had our own life lessons that made me stronger, not artificial torture.
Mhm. Didn't have to force the hand. It was actually already there.
Yeah, life. I feel like that's the truth for any kid. Like life will hand you your ass anyway. You don't need your parents to do that for you.
That's true. Yeah, that's for
You
sure.
know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if anything, your parents need to be there to support you. When your ass is handed to you.
Mm. Poor
N-
kids that have their parents and life
Yeah,
handing their. It's like
yeah, right.
that's
I
rough.
know
Yeah.
it is rough.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a very lonely feeling.
I mean, I've always felt so lucky, because I remember thinking about this when I was pretty young. It kind of just dawned on me, one of those sudden realizations.
Yeah.
And it was, wait a second, my parents are just two people. It dawned on me one day when I was young. I was like, whoa, most people are idiots. Like, most people are fucking idiots. My parents are just two people out of this big ol' random lottery. And I got so lucky because they're not idiots.
Yeah.
You know? I
Yeah.
thought, wow, anyone that can survive childhood is actually very fortunate and lucky because just by the overview of it, it seems highly unlikely that you will,
Yeah, right?
considering how moronic a lot of people seem to be. Maybe things change when they go home and close the door and they're like, oh, they're very nice and polite to one another. But you know how
Yeah.
it is when you're out there in Walmart and you're just like, "Rah!" People are like beastly sometimes, and you
Man,
think, whoa, how
I
does
try to when I see those kids, I try to be like
I
somehow transfer them love. Like it's okay.
know, right? You look at them in the eye like, it's okay.
It's okay.
After high school,
Yeah.
run, run. Just gotta make it. Push your head down,
Yeah.
push through, little dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those kids, if they do survive it, often they are pretty strong kids and capable kids. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's like that fine line as a parent. You want challenges for your kid. You don't want just what life has to offer, but you want to set up some artificial ones. Like I can't reach it. Well,
Oh,
let's see
yeah.
if you can. Let's see if you can get it. Think of something different. What you're doing is not. You want
Yeah, right.
challenges.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but often with loving people such as us, the challenges are pretty softball. And
Yeah.
with terrible parents, the challenges are fucking, Mount Everest sized
Yeah.
challenges, which is ungodly, unfair, and all that. But when those kids in those situations overcome it, I mean, at a
Mhm.
young age, they've dug their feet in, and yeah, they're going to weather quite a few storms. So
Yeah.
it's strange. You don't want to do that to your kid, but
Yeah, I've seen interviews of people, young people at the time that had parents in that were into a cult, and they realized
mm,
that when they were in high school, like, oh my God, this is a cult,
hmm
and they like had to just run away, because usually with girls it has to do with sex at some point, and you're gonna be
mm.
given away to somebody. And so that at that point, like the woman, she's like, "This is a cult. I need to like run away." She ran away at 16, just figured it out, and she was able to get her education and like reach out to other children in a situation like that. But yeah, she's just like, I can't stay in this situation. I have to leave.
Those kids, when they grow up, after they've saved themselves, are almost like alien visitors on this planet
Yeah,
because
right.
they're there mixing and mingling like everybody else who grew up playing Nintendo and playing volleyball with their brothers and sisters and going to the mall and arcade. Yet these kids were like wearing like monochrome matching dresses and being shuffled in and out of strange events. And there they are today,
Yeah, yeah,
sharing some waffle fries or whatever. But the one is more or less like an alien visiting from another
yeah,
planet. If there are aliens amongst us, it is the cult survivors, the sect survivors. They're
yeah,
from a different planet. Even the Amish are kind of from a different planet.
yeah. It's so hard to leave that though,
hmm
because that means that the kid, the child, is entering a different planet.
It's basically like you're on this planet. It's hostile, and there are escape pods, but you don't know where the hell it's gonna rocket off to.
Yeah.
Because there's no like phoning home. Like you're basically cut off from that past once you hit the escape pod, and there's no turning
Yes.
back. Cold, dark
No.
space. Yeah, wow, it's
I
pretty
really
bold
admire those
move.
people.
Me
It
too.
is.
The
Yeah.
survivors, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
Um. Yeah. I like learning about like people that have had a hard time and been able to survive it. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gives me hope for any situation that
Mm-hmm.
I may encounter.
That seems to be a common thread amongst really successful comedians.
Oh yeah.
A lot of hard times had in their youth. Very few seem to have like a squeaky clean story of youth. Most seem to come from abusive households or something terrible.
Yeah. Well, the only person I think of that hasn't had that, that I think is Seinfeld.
Mm,
Seinfeld. Seinfeld always talks about him having like supportive parents who like talked to him and like understood what he was trying to do. And like he's like, I don't understand, like a lot of my peers because I have everything good. I had like a
hmm
nice car from my comedy. I was funny. My parents supported me.
You can kind of hear it in his comedy.
Yeah.
It's very just, goofy, silly, jokey type material. Whereas a lot
Right.
of other comedians who are big successes are, digging deep into some cultural taboos and, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
More edgy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's
interesting like that. The squeaky clean
yeah.
comedians like Jerry Seinfeld.
He's the only one I could think of though. Everybody else that I like has had a harder time. Um, yeah,
I mean, it's kind of strange because well, it's not strange. It's kind of almost obvious because comedians are searching for the acceptance and the smiles. That's kind of their whole thing. Like, I want to make them laugh. And
yeah,
I suppose that's a direct reflection of like not having that at all as a child. Just having people, scold you and, not have any love, no hugs. So it's just like,
yeah.
I want to see somebody
Hello.
smile, please. Christ, look at me in the eyes and smile.
Yeah,
Somebody. I'll dance, I'll sing.
yeah. Uh, Jim Carrey had a hard. I saw his like early like teenagehood. He dropped out of school at 16 because he had to go work
hmm
as a janitor and a like security guard because his dad didn't have a job anymore, like he was laid off
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So he had, I think he might have been the janitor at his own old high school or something like that. Crazy.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, like some kind of like twisted turn of events. Yeah,
That's like
like
becoming a
some,
meth head, basically. Jeez. That's
yeah, like
no path.
or like yeah, and then having he went to like he just had the hardest jobs, just like
Mm-hmm.
humiliating for a teenager, kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Um, but
That.
he saw what happens when you just get a job.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like, okay, I'm gonna just live securely and have a good job. Like, what if your good job is no longer there? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, um, because his dad was funny. He's like, my dad could have been a comedian. Like, my dad is much funnier than I am, which is so interesting to think about. Like, somebody who created Jim Carrey,
Mm-hmm.
you know, couldn't follow that path or didn't know how to, just didn't believe in himself
Or just had a kid.
or just had a kid. When I'm fat, I swear that I look skinny.
Oh, so you have it like in reverse or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like it's
what
not.
about when you're skinny? Do you think that
What? Yeah.
you're
Then
it's
I
also
think I'm.
normal, it's also good, or so you're always good with your body figure? You always think you're skinny, no matter what.
Yes. Yes.
That's pretty phenomenal. How do you bottle that and sell it?
um. You're just like uh delusional is what it is. You're just being delusional.
Okay. Yeah,
Delusion.
because I'm not delusional apparently because I can see the muffin top and I'm thinking, nah, it's better without it. Nah,
No.
I like
No.
it better without it.
No. I when I see it or feel it, I'm like,
Ah,
yeah.
ah.
This is
That's
but
fantastic.
no, it's not because it's not
Oh,
good for me to be chunky.
but when have you ever been chunky?
I was a little bit chunky, like a couple years ago. I like gained a good like 30 pounds.
Oh, wow, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it was pretty
Wow.
big.
So you
Yeah,
grew out of all your
I
clothes for that period, I would assume.
I did.
Did
Yeah,
you
I had to
keep your skinny sweaters and all that stuff?
some of them.
I
I
have
got
my
rid of a
one
lot.
skinny sweater that I'll never get rid of because it's the
Of
true test of whether or not
stuff.
I'm skinny. You know which sweater I'm talking about. I used to wear it
mm,
all the time back in the dance
brown.
days. There was a
Is it the?
brown one as well, but that one wasn't as tight as the one I'm thinking. This one can only be pulled off in the yeah, in the prime time. And when I squeeze myself into it in the later years, occasionally I'll try. There have been periods where, wow, I could wear this if I wanted to, but I won't because I'm not a fucking teenager right now. But most times it's like, how did I ever wear this?
Yeah.
You know? So that's the my measurement. That's my yeah
Well, but
point of
also you
reference.
can't really measure things because the body changes, like you get wider,
Mm,
like if you're a guy or this way if you're a girl,
mm-hmm. And your
you're just
arms,
thicker.
the bones get bigger and
The bones get
you
bigger.
get
You just get
stockier
thicker.
somehow. Yeah, totally.
Hmm.
Do you remember how I always used to have this really fond feeling for my hands, and I always used to think I was a hand model, and like
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
wasted my potential future on doing other
That's
things because
right.
I should have definitely been a hand model,
I remember. Yeah.
and I'm sad to say I'm seeing it fade.
Oh
I'm seeing it fade. Probably not here and now. Probably it still looks pretty ideal and wonderful with the
no.
with my soft lights here, but I can see
Oh.
slipping out of these fingers. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not hand model extraordinaire anymore. Yeah, you start seeing like wrinkles and
You start
veins,
seeing like all
bones.
your mounds. Yeah. Henry has like nice little like fatty,
Mm-hmm. Right.
chunk. He's like, what? He's like, what's with your hands? Like, why do you have bones in them?
Right. Yeah. Like kids'
Like,
hands look like that. It's just
yeah, it's squishy.
there's nothing other than smooth blanket of fatty tissue.
Yeah, squish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, and I remember being a kid and looking at my mom and like looking at other people being like, your body's weird. Like, what's all this stuff?
Do you also
You know?
remember thinking like, that's never gonna happen to me?
Yeah.
Whatever they did to fuck up that bad, I won't do. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried. Right? It's not gonna happen to me. Somehow I
True.
thought that though. There was a time, a stretch of time where I thought, why would I ever look like that?
Why? What
Yeah,
is that?
that doesn't even make
Or
sense. It must be because they're
or
so always in a grumpy mood. That's why. I'm not grumpy like that, so it's not gonna be
yeah.
me.
Or like why did old people like choose to get old like that? Like what's wrong with them? Why do
Or
they
why don't they have a bunch of friends?
Yeah.
They must have been losers, I guess, because I'm gonna have like 1,000 friends when I'm their age. What's right?
It's true.
Yeah, it's so funny. Same thing with like parents. Like they don't do anything. Yeah, because they're busy with your ass the whole day. The whole fucking day. Even when you're sleeping, they're busy with your ass.
Yeah.
Kids are so funny though. They get like what, 14 hours of sleep. You get 6 and they're like, "What's wrong? Come on, come on. God damn it, get your own water. Get your own glass of water. You slept more than twice." They're like, "I can't pick that up.
Oh,
Pick it
I
up."
Henry's 8 now, and like he can get his own glass of water and stuff. Like eventually you'll get there. But I feel like so uh proud of him, when he like gets his own stuff,
I
lights
know it's such a
his own
right?
firework.
Yeah. It's so nice. Basil sometimes he gets up first. He's like, "I'm gonna make coffee."
What?
Yeah, that's just I'm gonna go make coffee, and then I'll stay there lying for like another 5-10 minutes. But then I have to peel myself up because that might
What does
not
that
go so
mean?
well. That
Yeah,
that
what does
means
that
he's gonna
mean?
make coffee. He's straight up gonna make coffee. He's gonna get the beans. He's gonna get the filter. He's gonna put the beans in the filter. He's gonna get the water. He's gonna fill up the tank. He's gonna start it all. But he might not have the best accuracy with pouring the water into the machine. Stuff like that.
Sure.
Might not have the
Yeah,
best accuracy with the powder. So
sure.
maybe it's a little beneficial to get up and kind of aid a little bit, kind of
Yeah.
supervise. But just him saying that, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Pride,
Yeah.
like this kid,
Yeah. He's gonna
he's
do it.
5 and he's
He'll do
making
it.
coffee.
The what?
He's 5 and he's making coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Like he'll really be able to do it soon.
Hmm.
But it's good that he wants to do stuff like that.
Yeah, he's totally Mr. Independent. He wants to do everything. He wants to go to the playground by himself. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't let you go by yourself. I know you probably could, and I'm sure you'd be fine, but I can't feel good about that. Not right now. You're too young.
No shoes, no shirt, no service.
The
Like we're
most
all
oppressed cross section of society.
the nudes.
The most oppressed. Why must I conform? It's nature, it's God's plan for me to be barefoot and without a shirt. Why should I
Yeah.
conform? I don't know why the religious folk don't come up with that as a hill to die on, like just dressed in a robe or whatever. Just, I am allowed to go into this shop and buy my pretzels or whatever, like
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
God's
mean,
plan for me.
it's the same idea. Like if you don't go into a store barefoot, because what if there's glass on the floor, let's say, and
Hmm.
then you can't go sue Walmart because there's glass on the floor because you didn't wear your shoes.
You know what's
Same
funny
idea.
is I never ever thought of it that way. I always thought of it
Oh.
because of my old foot problem that people just didn't want dirty ass feet in the store. I thought that was the whole reason.
No, I think
It's a
it's for
liability
safety.
issue.
It's a liability. Yeah.
I mean, you're saying that and it makes perfect sense to me, but please, then why not the shirt? Because it's obscene to people, or what?
Oh, the shirt. I don't know. I'm not
People don't want to
exactly
see
sure, but
the nippies or something?
the nipples. I don't know. No, I, I the shoes is I think a liability, but the shirt thing.
Yeah, what's up with that? Just
Uh,
decency, common decency kind of a thing?
I guess decency. Yeah.
And what
I,
is it? No shirt and shoes? Or no shirt or shoes, no shoes.
no, I think it's no shirt, no shoes, no service.
So does
So
that mean that you could
no,
have shoes on, no shirt, and it's not a problem?
no
Does
means
that
all both things. No
both?
shoes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's all both things. No
So if you're
shoes.
barefoot, you're out, and if you just have your shirt off, you're out, even though you have shoes on.
Right.
Ah. Uh-huh. What about a half shirt? You like have to stay half out of the shop. Remember half shirts in the 1980s?
Half shirts.
Yeah. Guys wore half shirts.
Oh, like a crop top,
Yeah. That was a thing that dudes wore. You remember that? That shit will
kind
never
of.
come back unless unless it's
With the
I
football.
mean, with the
The
football?
football. Was it a football shirt?
No, I'm just talking about a t-shirt that went only down to here for guys. You don't remember
Oh
those?
no, where was
I
I?
mean, the most iconic one that comes to mind is in Rocky Part 2, I think, and Apollo Creed is and Rocky are like running down the beach, and Apollo Creed, I mean, literally has a shirt that just covers his nipples
Oh yeah,
basically,
yeah,
and he's wearing his socks like
yeah.
pulled up to his knees. It's a very 80s thing, half shirts. I had them too. I had one that said "Beat it, beat it," like the Michael Jackson lyric, but it didn't look like a Michael Jackson shirt. It just said "Beat it," which to
Like
me is like the gayest shirt to possibly wear a half shirt that says "Beat it," especially because I had like a muffin top too. Like I had no reason to be wearing a half shirt that said "Beat it," you know?
little squishy muffin.
Yeah, totally.
To be right is not greater than my want for love and connection
Mm. Mhm.
with anyone in my family. Like even with my mom or my brother, my dad. Um,
I think that's what
um
makes you a good friend, Sabrina. I think that's why you're able to maintain friendships across, a variety of different types of people. I think people who don't have that ability, they lose certain friends in their life because it does come
mhm.
down to that, you know, moment where it's like you're wrong and I'm right. I'm right and you're wrong. And that's like the divide right there. We can't communicate anymore. It's over.
Right.
Whereas
Oh
you're like,
yeah.
I'd rather just be friends. Like it's okay. I don't have to fight until I'm exhausted over it. So we have
Mm,
a different opinion. Let's just drop it. Like that's more your style. Where some people are like, I
yeah.
can't drop it. You have to admit you're wrong. Like there's those people, right? You must
Yeah.
admit it. And then the person's like, but I'm right. I can't. And then it's
Yeah.
over. Then it's over.
Done. It's done. I don't like
Yeah.
that. I'm not into that because it does sever friendships, relationships, um, family easily because my family has different thoughts than I do. Um, but I think it came from being vegetarian and having a family that basically exclusively eats meat. Um, like it's the
Mm.
same idea. Like I do what I need for myself. Like I'm not making you eat the meat. I'm not eating the meat. Kind of a mindset. Um,
That's interesting. For a vegetarian to be in a family of carnivores, they have to have a pretty thick skin and tolerance for people who, disagree with you. Like that's a
yes.
pretty fundamental position a person has in life, like their diet, and to be surrounded by people of the other
Yeah.
camp. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think the percentage is 80% in Argentina of an Argentine diet is meat, is steak,
You're
is
right. Big
beef.
steak culture there, no?
Big, big. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
80%. Like
Wow.
that's
But I guess
almost
that's
all the
isn't that the
meat.
same as the States too, maybe?
I don't know. I don't think it's
I would
that
guess.
severe.
I would think it's probably 80% like almost everywhere. Because I mean, when you get on an airplane, you have to request the vegetarian meal. Where I always used to
Yeah.
think, why isn't it just a vegan meal? Everyone can eat that, but you
Right.
literally have to go out of your way to get a vegetarian or a vegan meal, which to me indicates that most people want meat and
Well,
actually
I
will be
mean,
pissed if they don't get it.
oh yeah, it's people. Yeah, I know people that if they don't have meat, it's like they didn't have a meal. Like
Hmm.
if you were just to get
Right.
like a salad, it'd be like I didn't eat today.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be meat or it's not a meal. There are those types out there. It's
Yeah,
funny too, because on
definitely.
an airplane, isn't that the last place you want to eat meat?
Ugh, yeah.
There's no butcher
I
nearby
mean,
an airport. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about some heavily processed, crazy meat in there.
I love airplane food though, like the vegan or vegetarian.
Do you
Usually,
love airplane food or do you love receiving airplane food?
I like when I'm in there in the sky and there's no other option,
Right.
and
Something
there
to
comes
play
a
with,
nice
something to think
person.
about.
No, but when I'm eating it,
You're like,
I like
mm?
it.
Are you like,
Yes,
no
yes,
way. It's
yes.
terrible though. It's always so bad.
I love it. Like
That's funny.
whatever, every meal that I've had on the airplane, like a rice pilaf, I'm like, wow, what a great rice pilaf here in the air. you know,
Uh,
I think it is like circumstantial, like where I am, like what's happening. Like I'm on an airplane for a long period of time. There's not a lot of other options. It's just like a comfort in the
mm,
sky.
totally. That's why
Um,
I'm so happy to
yeah,
receive the meal, even though I'm
yeah,
not going to enjoy it at all. I'm
I
just happy
enjoy
to
it.
dig into it and look at it and put it in my mouth and take out the plastic, this and that, and move it around. I'm just happy to have that action
Yeah,
on the plane. But it's
I
the
remember
worst, especially
going
pasta.
to.
Ugh, so bad.
Oh, really? Oh,
Always
I love
so
it.
bad.
I
So
remember going
overcooked.
to
Such a terrible
Germany
sauce. Yeah.
when I went over to Germany by myself, um, taking the Air, I
Lufthansa.
think, Lufthansa. And it's so sweet. I loved it. Like because when you go, they like even though it's daytime, they'll like put down the shutters, and like give you dinner, so you have like the
Mm,
feeling of going to bed. So when you arrive, you're like not jet lagged or whatever.
hmm
So I really liked that experience of like pretending like we're gonna all go to sleep and get our dinner and stuff. And then when you wake up, they have coffee for you. But I decided to get tea this time. And so I saw that they gave you all these things. They gave you like milk, um, tea, lemon, and like your hot water. So I was like, oh, cool. So me not knowing, not realizing, like I put in my tea and my lemon and my water, and what happens is that it curdles and it's
mm,
disgusting.
hmm
And I was like really committed to what I was doing, and like I felt like people were looking at me and like wondering like what was I doing? Why did I put lemon in the milk? And like I was like drinking the curdled like tea,
Oh,
and I was
oh,
like, oh, this is what I meant to do, but
oh.
it's awful. I felt embarrassed for myself and sad that I couldn't enjoy my beverage because I messed it up so bad.
Mm. How
But
do
I
you
just,
feel about people that
ugh.
lean the chair all the way back?
um, how do I feel about people that do that?
hmm
Um,
Are they within their rights to do it, no worries, or are they selfish pigs in the air?
it's difficult because there was that thing. There was somebody videotaped this very incident and was complaining that they were in the back row where they could not recline, and the
hmm
person in front of them reclined.
I saw that video.
Yeah. So they're in that situation, it's a little tricky because the guy can't move back,
Yeah,
right? Because he's in the back of the plane. So the plane itself is not
equitable.
built right. It's not
Yeah,
equitable for everybody. Exactly.
yeah.
So does that mean that you should take your your chair? N- I don't know if the lady knew or did not know that the guy couldn't move back. If she knew and did it anyway, then that's shitty. But
Mm.
I'm gonna guess that she didn't know that he couldn't move back.
hmm
And I think just out of politeness, one should not move back
hmm
in a situation like that. Like it would be like, I'm so sorry. I would have said to the lady if I was the guy, I know you're totally in your right to move your chair back, but would you be able to like lift it up like maybe halfway? Because I can't move back. I'm kind of stuck here, and like have a conversation. I think that's the way I
Mm-hmm.
would have handled that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think the person would have been, responsive to that. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying you have to go all the way, but at least halfway because I'm stuck. As you can see here, I can't go anywhere. Um, but the whole way, I think everybody in that situation could have handled things better. Like the airplane shouldn't have a back seat that doesn't move back and have the front seat in front of it move into its space so the guy doesn't have or the girl doesn't have any space.
But that's a problem with no real solution. Unless the back seat is able to go back, then it's no problem. But if the
Yeah,
back seat can't go back, then the same problem exists throughout the whole spectrum of seats. Like, then the whole thing's unfair. Is
right.
it,
So the plane might want to not have a back row of seats,
or just have a
you
little
know.
space behind that back seat so it can just also go back.
Right, which
Doesn't
is
have to
if
be
you just
against a
take out,
wall.
yeah. But if you're back, if you just remove those two back seats,
Hmm.
then the seat in front would be the back seat now, and they can move all the
Hmm.
way back.
I think the problem is that most people are not like you, right? Most people are not thinking that love supreme is better than being right. Uh, these are the people that have problems with that. Because anyone who believes like you would obviously not disturb someone so badly and still be able to enjoy themselves.
No.
You would feel bad. You
Yeah,
would feel bad if you're you on that situation. You leave and someone's like, "Oh, please," you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, no problem." Of course.
yeah.
You wouldn't be like, "But I'm allowed to. It's
You're
my
right.
right to. I paid for the seat. You don't matter. What matters are the rules." Yeah, I think a lot of that diplomacy is lost, where people just want to say it's a mask, it's no mask, it's actually, why don't you just have a little respect for the people around you? Hey, if you don't like
Yeah,
masks but you like people, then you'll choose to put on the mask around people that want feel safer with the mask. And then when
yeah,
you're around people that don't mind, you take it off because you're respectful and you
yeah,
believe in the love supreme and no one should have to suffer unnecessarily, But
yeah.
yeah, it's that whole attitude of it's my right, it's my right. Yeah, it's crazy. People don't
No,
understand though that they're rights. It's like just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should or ought to do it. Like people feel like as long as I can, I should and I ought to, but no, not really. Not if you don't
no.
want it
We
coming
live.
back at you.
Yeah, we live in a society with others. We're not, you know, by ourselves in a insulated environment.
No doubt. Yeah,
Okay.
like I always say it, like my freedom ends where yours begins. That,
Right.
and
Exactly.
sometimes that radius is bigger. If I'm in an open field and there's nobody around,
Yeah.
hey, it's the sound of music. You know what I mean? But on a crowded train, yeah, my freedoms are pretty limited, and I accept that. I don't
Yeah.
go like, but I want to stretch out. I want to stand like this. I want to hover over you. No, it's like a little decorum, a little respect
Yeah.
for others, acknowledging
Yeah.
that their freedoms exist too. You know, that's why it's like with the music. Yeah, put it as loud as you want until you're upsetting somebody. Then maybe you should rethink it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I tell the kids in my classroom. Because they
Yeah.
sometimes they like want to see the boundaries, like so they'll do
Right.
some fucked up shit and then look at me, right, to see what I'm gonna do, and they
Yeah.
get surprised. I could see they're baffled sometimes because I don't do anything. I just smile. I just like I get a kick out of it, and then towards the middle of the week I give them the explanation. I'm like, look, I know sometimes you guys go a little crazy, and that's cool. You're a kid. You ought to go crazy. You should be as loud and crazy as you want. But the moment it's interfering with someone else's, um, you know, t- um, you know, uh, right to be at peace or what, I don't know how I phrase it right now, losing my mind. But yeah, as long as I don't get a complaint from another student, you can go as wild as you want. It's no worries. But if somebody's like looking bothered by it or complains, then you have to stop.
Yeah.
Then you have to
Yeah.
stop. But until then, yeah, Good, do your thing. Like I'm so up for that, I'm totally down for that. Explore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go nuts. Go buck wild. As long as everyone's okay with it, it's okay by me too.
Yeah. Do you ever have other students say like, "Oh, this is bothering me"?
Oh yeah, sure, sure, sure,
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
oh.
Somebody like, stop that, get off me, don't touch that, put that down. And I'm like, look, put it down. Don't touch them. Stop. You're bothering that person. Stop it. For sure. Yeah, oh, yeah, I have to intervene sometimes. Yeah. It's the mix of kids. Some believe in the love supreme, others don't. Others are little tyrants.
Yeah.
If I can, I will.
I was talking to Michael about this, the because we were talking about patience and how I have patience. And I'm like, yeah, I learned patience when I was tutoring autistic kids
Hmm.
and doing this thing called Lovis therapy, where my student would smack me in the face when he didn't want to sit down. Like sitting down was very difficult, like sitting and having your hands like this, on the table was like that's what we would spend most of our time on was sitting down and having your hands like this. And then eventually making eye contact. The hardest thing ever for an autistic kid, like this was his therapy. Um but before we got to him sitting down with his hands down like this and like looking at me, he would whah, smack me in the face.
Oh
Bah!
no. Oh no.
Yes. And
What?
as part of the therapy, I couldn't make any reaction. I couldn't say like stop that, or get mad or no reaction. I would have no reaction and just keep going.
Oh my God, but you must have been deeply troubled on the inside, right?
Because I was a teenager and I was learning about this, like I was able to just like descend, like just ascend or whatever, just like be of like have that ability to not react when a child would smack me in the face because I knew that they were autistic and this is what I'm here for, you
You're a
know?
saint.
Th- that experience though helped me be this tolerant
I
person that I
bet.
am today.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes a ton of humility and tolerance and patience and understanding and empathy and sympathy and all the other
Yeah.
wonderful virtuous qualities within a human being because a slap in the face,
Slapping the ki- by a
woo, it's
but
hard to
it's a
stay cool if you
child
get slapped in the face.
over and over again by a child with autism who
Yikes.
he had surgery in his brain also. So he had
Wow.
so you could also see it wasn't just like a regular child. You could see that
Sure.
this child was having a really hard time doing what you're asking them to do, so you
Hmm.
also have like a sympathy. So it's not like any kid.
Right.
So the situation makes it so that you're
Hmm.
professional, and like just
Hmm.
staying calm and doing your job, But that experience when I was a teenager, I think I was like 17, 18, that was like my first job. Um,
Wow.
yeah, that was helped me be
I bet.
tolerant of people and well, not tolerant of anybody, but just tolerant of people in trouble,
Hmm.
like seeing where they're coming from.
Hmm.
You know, not believing that people aren't just evil, people
Right. Not
that
being so
they just
judgmental and
yeah,
treating
not be
people
judged.
like they're disposable kind of a thing.
Mhm. It,
Because you can redeem someone, help someone.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, a lot of my working life was around that idea, working with people that may act up, but
Hmm.
because of their circumstance, you know,
Right.
their situation. Somebody's back.
All you say is thank you.
Thank you, my love. I
That was really
appreciate that
sweet.
so
I really
much.
appreciate it. You're the
Thank
best.
you.
Thank you. Only smiles, only gratitude. Well done.
I know my husband is the best.
Well done.
He he's very strong too.
Oh, a little cherry on top. Mmm. Nice.
I know. It's so nice to be with like my husband. He's
Yeah.
so He's very gentle but rough and strong.
Gentle giant
Gentle giant, yes.
when need be.
Yeah, I always when we stand up, I'm like, "You're so tall." Like, yeah, you don't. I don't think of him as a tall person, but he really is.
Yeah.
You shaved your head. You look so cute.
You're hitting home out of the park, Sabrina. Out of the park with these statements of
He
yours.
is.
It's well done.
Yes, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I love those flowers behind you.
Yeah, we got lucky because a couple of our neighbors started their summer vacation yesterday, and
Hmm.
one of them had their birthday just 2 days ago. So they are the birthday flowers of one of our
Oh,
neighbors, which would otherwise
oh,
just perish in their apartment. So they gave them
oh,
to us.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's always nice to have flowers around.
Oh yeah, I love flowers.
It's so funny too when you go into a flower shop, especially like a fee foo foo one, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna take one, and you bring it up there and like €5. It's like, what the
It-
fuck?
yeah,
It's a fucking flower. I know it's beautiful, and if it were made of glass, okay. If it was carved out of wood, okay. But that motherfucker grew out of the goddamn ground with the fucking sunshine that's free, baby. Like $5 for a flower? And then you and then you take it home and it's beautiful, and it smells great, it's nice, I get it. But then one day you're out there walking and you're going to like whatever 7-Eleven bullshit, and they're lining the whole road of these beautiful wildflowers, thousands of them. And then you're like, am I the biggest sucker on earth? Like this shit is like it grows free. Like and I can
yeah.
go grab a whole bouquet of these beautiful wildflowers right now for free, or walk myself over to
You know,
the
it's for people that have no imagination. Like there's people that don't know how to put a bouquet together. They're just like,
mm,
I don't I what do I do?
mm.
Like they have no ability to arrange a flower. Like
The
to do
funny
like
thing
what
is, yeah, I mean, a lot of
yeah.
people don't think they have any creative ability. I've met a lot of adults who are like, I'm just not creative at all. I'm like, it's so hard to believe. I know you
Yeah.
are. You
Of
must
course.
be.
Of
I
course they are,
mean,
but some
just
people
solving
think,
problems is creative, so you must be creative to some certain extent. But when it comes down to um, like a physical manifestation of the creation, like within
mhm,
what would be described as art, that's when they're like, I just can't. I'll be creative like
yes.
setting up a Jimmy rigged system to fix the lawnmower or Jimmy rig the lighting for the Christmas tree or whatever. But I can't draw a cat. No, I
Yeah.
can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do
Yeah.
it. I can't. You know. I'm always
Yeah.
like, wow, what happened to you as a child? Someone must have like really like laughed at your drawing or something
Right.
for you to be
Yeah.
so scared to draw a cat or a house or something simple like that.
There's
I've
people like that.
there are.
Yeah.
Some kids are like that too, which is really kind of
No.
sad, because we
That's too
do.
young.
I
Yeah.
know, and we do Pictionary, in my classroom sometimes, and I'm like, the word is right, and I have to go to the board. And I remember this one time, it was sword. The kid's like, I don't know how to do that. I don't want to be a jerk, but in my head, I'm thinking, what the how? It's a fucking cross, basically. Just draw
Yeah.
two lines.
Let's
I
fly.
don't know how to do that. And yeah, it was in that classroom because it wasn't just that one child that it seeming like I just had a bad batch of kids. Like just none of them
Poor
had any
kid.
creative instinct. So as we're playing Pictionary, I changed the format, and instead of giving them the word, I did with my hand, my cell phone handy, I would Google the word in an image search, and I would just show them a picture of it. I'm like, this is what you have to draw. But I'm basically like, just copy
Right.
that.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That's
It
good.
works, and they had fun too.
Yeah. That and you know what? That probably helped their confidence.
Probably,
You know,
yeah, because they were able to
because that
do it.
yeah, because they were able to do it and they had a reference. Because sometimes people just don't know what how to even draw something. Like they
And
have
that's
no reference to.
that's the sad thing because those are the people I want most to draw something. I
Right.
want to see them draw a cat more than anyone else. The
Mhm.
person that has zero point of reference as to what to even draw, please let me see your interpretation. That's what I want
Mhm.
to see more than anything. That's why I love children's art so much because they really don't often have that point of reference. So when they
Right.
draw a person, or it's like, oh, it's grandma's birthday, draw a picture of grandma, and it's like this ghoulish looking monstrous picture. It's like, I don't know, maybe we should draw another one because this one might scare grandma, like, but it's like this is fantastic, like wow, who would have ever thought this is grandma? Um, I love that.
It's a circle with like teeth.
I should go run and grab my the picture Basil made of me for Father's Day this year.
Oh,
I guess it started off like a normal picture, but Basil and I we had this thing for a while where we would do hidden side pictures. I should show you some of them. Some of them are
yeah.
pretty damn good. You want to see some hidden side pictures?
Yes.
You got it. These are pretty good. During the quarantine time, one of the gazillion craft projects we have. Whoa. So, this is our box of hidden side drawings.
Hidden side,
Yeah, that's what we were calling them.
like hidden inside.
Like, a hidden side.
Oh, a hidden side. Okay,
Yeah, hidden
okay.
side.
Right. I see.
So, like, for example, look at this kid. He's using his bubble blower. Or is he really in the bathtub?
That's great. Oh, wow. Henry would love that.
Oh, look at this guy. He's just a little shy guy, not much to say. Or is he a goofy gooferton?
That's great. I love that.
This one Basil made. It's just an unsuspecting ice cream cone. Or is it a monster?
That's awesome.
Uh, oh. Ooh, I hope you're not scared. Ooh, it's just a lady in her evening gown.
That's good.
Yeah, some of them are actually pretty good. Here's another one of Basil's. It's an angry teacher, or it's a happy friend.
Wow, that's really good. A change in the eyes really made a difference.
Right? And then I started trying to get creative with it. I think this was a friendly dinosaur, but he can breathe fire, and he's got spikes.
Wow. I have to do this to Henry. He'll love it.
Yeah, actually, it's a great thing, a great idea for kids because I showed
It's
other kids it,
amazing.
and then all of a
Oh,
sudden they're
yeah.
doing it with their parents too. It became like a thing. There's
Wow.
another idea too. This was another version of Hidden Side, where it's like a picture, right? Like this is like just some dude, but when you hold it up to the light, I'm gonna see if I can reproduce this for you because when you, the idea is what you would do is you'd put it on the window so the light can shine through it
Oh, okay.
because then it takes on. That's not working. Okay, but
What if you do it the other way?
but those
Oh.
features would shine through it,
Oh.
making
What
his
if you
eyes
make the
yellow.
light go through the front, not the back? You shine the
I,
light.
yeah, I guess the problem is that we're back, like the light's coming from this way. If it were coming
Oh,
from
okay.
this way, because I
Okay,
see
okay.
it looking at it now, but you get the idea, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I like that.
But I got I have to dig in here and show you there's some really good ones in here. Um, let me see. Maybe this one? What is this? Oh, it's an Easter bunny. Or it's a butterfly.
Ooh.
Uh, wait a second. Oh, here's a good one. He's blowing the world's largest bubble, or is it a blue whale?
Oh, those are really good. I like all of those.
Is it a slice of pizza, or is it a stinky animal making a poo poo?
Yay.
Is it a beautiful flower, or a symbol of freedom?
That's pretty good.
Right? Oh. Hey, you want some french fries?
Yeah.
Psych.
Oh!
Basil loved taking this one around to like everybody. Like, you want some fries? You want some French fries? Okay,
we
here's a
have
good one.
we have
Uh-huh.
one, but it's the exquisite corpse one.
Mm-hmm. Exquisite corpse. Why does that sound familiar?
It's where um you draw each person draws one part, and then at the end you have one.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
Also,
Yeah, yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
yeah, you get one
And you're not supposed
monster.
to look, right? You're supposed to
Right.
just draw it
Yeah,
first.
this one came out perfectly. We were like, wow, it's all like
Yeah.
one. This was me. This was Henry. This was Michael.
Cool.
It's like we love drawing here.
You're kind of frozen.
Oh no,
Yeah. There you
I
are.
moved the computer too much.
That's funny how you can't move the computer. You want an ice cream?
Ice cream, sure.
Or do you want to pick my nose?
Oh man.
Oh man. Would you like a cupcake?
Yeah.
How about an ice cream instead?
Oh, okay. That's
Want to
good.
go on a rocket ship?
Okay.
Not now.
Oh no. So what do you think of first? The outside, like the rocket ship, or the?
In my mind, I think of the two matching images, and then I draw it.
Oh, okay.
A balloon or a hot air balloon. Here's my
Cool.
Basil's alien face.
Nice.
Is she wearing headphones or is it just a big spider?
Oh.
It's a little fish. Or is it a big shark? And it's just a goofy lady. Yeah, okay. We got a lot of them. There's a whole bunch more, but
That's
yeah,
cool.
that was fun to share them with you. Our Hidden
Cool.
Side series.
Hidden inside.
Hidden
Oh,
Side.
hidden side. Hidden
Yeah,
side.
the Hidden Side, yeah.
Hidden side. Hidden
Yeah.
side. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
We should have people try that at home and send us a picture of what you've done with your kids.
Oh my God, I would love that. Please, here's the
We
email
would show
address.
it. Yeah, our
Send
email address.
in your Hidden Side picture. I would love that.
Yes.
Totally love
It's
that.
rehashthepastpodcast@gmail.com.
So easy to remember and so pleasant
Yeah.
sounding.
Yeah. Rehash the past podcast at gmail.com.
Have we received even one email?
No.
Okay, so please send an email just
Send
to
us
see if
an
it
email.
works. Come
Yeah,
on,
it doesn't
man.
even work.
We don't
The
even know if
only
it works.
the only email I got was of your clips for our Instagram page,
Mm,
which you can find us on Instagram at Rehash the Past Podcast on IG on
yeah.
Instagram. We put up little clips there of our show.
And I
So
think
you
we're going to
can,
start, I don't know how
yeah,
you feel about it, but I think we're going to start putting up photos and other little fun stuff from our past, not just
yeah,
clips. Because after
yeah,
digging through those hard drives, there's so many awesome photos and fun memories, little video
yeah.
clips and such, that there's no way we'll ever be able to use all of it in these podcasts. It's just too complicated sometimes, but it would be nice to share it anyways, and it's easy on Instagram. You just pop and it's there. And it would be nice for us to look back on those memories too, have a little station to see some old, it's basically all throwbacks, the whole thing, I guess.
The pictures you sent me um are awesome. I think we all look so beautiful and like vibrant.
We
It's
did
it's
look so
lovely.
young and so vibrant, so just
Like,
perky, just so
yeah, perky.
enthusiastic.
Like squeezy and like little cherubs, so cute.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
And then see you, Joe.
See you, Sabrina.